Top 10 engineering projects that almost worked, but failed. Engineering has always been the art of turning dreams into reality. From towering skyscrapers to space exploration, humanity has consistently pushed the limits of what's possible. But with great ambition often comes spectacular failure. Some projects are remembered not for their success, but for how close they came to changing the world, before crumbling under the weight of their flaws. These are the stories of brilliant minds, bold ideas, and billion-dollar dreams that almost worked, but ultimately failed. Join us as we dive into the top 10 engineering projects that almost worked, but failed, a journey through triumph, tragedy, and lessons learned. 1. The Tacoma Narrows Bridge, 1940, Galloping Gertie. Known as one of the most famous failures in civil engineering, the Tacoma Narrows Bridge in Washington opened in July 1940. At the time, it was the third longest suspension bridge in the world. But just 4 months later, it collapsed in dramatic fashion. The culprit? Aerodynamic instability. Engineers had underestimated how wind could cause the bridge to oscillate like a ribbon. Nicknamed Galloping Gertie, the bridge twisted violently before tearing apart. While no human lives were lost, the footage of its collapse remains a haunting reminder that cutting-edge design can backfire. 2. The Spruce Goose, Hughes' gigantic airplane. Howard Hughes' H-4 Hercules, better known as the Spruce Goose, was designed during World War II to transport troops and equipment. With the largest wingspan of any plane ever built at that time, it was an engineering marvel. But there was one problem: it was made mostly of wood due to wartime restrictions on metal. The massive aircraft only flew once, for less than a mile, in 1947. While it technically worked, the Spruce Goose was impractical, expensive, and never saw real service. 3. The Chernobyl nuclear reactor, 1986, a catastrophic design flaw. The Chernobyl disaster wasn't just a human tragedy, it was also an engineering failure. The RBMK reactor design had inherent flaws, including instability at low power and inadequate safety systems. On April 26, 1986, a flawed safety test went horribly wrong, leading to a massive explosion and radioactive fallout. Ironically, the test was meant to make the plant safer. Instead, it revealed how poor design combined with human error could turn ambition into catastrophe. 4. The Edsel car by Ford, 1957, the automotive miscalculation. Ford poured millions into the Edsel, convinced it would revolutionize the American car market. The company used advanced marketing research, futuristic designs, and bold styling. But the car was overpriced, poorly timed, and mocked for its unusual, toilet seat, grille design. Sales flopped, and the Edsel became one of the most infamous failures in automotive history. It almost worked. It had innovative features, but poor execution killed it. 5. The DeLorean DC-12, 1981, a stylish failure. Thanks to Back to the Future, the DeLorean is iconic. But in reality, the stainless steel sports car was plagued with problems. Its gull-wing doors looked futuristic, but the car had weak performance, reliability issues, and a high price tag. John DeLorean's dream of competing with Ferrari and Porsche ended in bankruptcy and scandal. Despite its failure, the DeLorean almost worked. It had the looks, but not the engineering reliability. 6. The Concorde supersonic jet, 1976 to 2003, too advanced for its time. The Concorde was a masterpiece of engineering, able to cross the Atlantic in under 4 hours at supersonic speeds. But despite its success in technology, it failed commercially. High operating costs, limited seating, and skyrocketing fuel prices meant only the wealthy could afford tickets. A tragic crash in 2000 sealed its fate. The Concorde almost worked. It proved supersonic passenger flight was possible, but it couldn't overcome economic reality. 7. The Channel Tunnel Cooling System Issue, 1994. The channel connecting the UK and France was a historic feat. But in the early years, engineers faced an unexpected challenge: overheating. Trains traveling at high speeds through the confined space generated immense heat, and the cooling systems struggled to keep up. While the tunnel ultimately succeeded, its initial failures highlight how even well-planned mega-projects nearly fall apart. 8. The Hubble Space Telescope, 1990 launch, a blurry start. When NASA launched the Hubble Space Telescope, it was hailed as the beginning of a new era in astronomy. But soon after, scientists discovered the telescope's main mirror had a tiny flaw, producing blurry images. It was devastating for a multi-billion-dollar project. Fortunately, astronauts fixed the mirror during a servicing mission, turning failure into triumph. But for a while, Hubble was a laughingstock. It almost worked, but not quite. 9. The Boston Big Dig, 1991 to 2007. Boston's Central Artery Tunnel project, known as the Big Dig, was meant to solve the city's traffic nightmare by burying highways underground. What was supposed to cost $2.8 billion ballooned to nearly $15 billion. Delays, leaks, faulty materials, and even a fatal ceiling collapse plagued the project. While the Big Dig was eventually completed, it was a financial and engineering nightmare, an almost success that became infamous for its failures. 10. The Space Shuttle Challenger, 1986. The Space Shuttle program was a marvel of reusable engineering. But on January 28, 1986, the Challenger disaster shocked the world. A faulty O-ring seal failed in cold weather, causing the shuttle to explode just 73 seconds after launch. The tragedy highlighted the risks of pushing engineering limits without proper safety oversight. The shuttle program continued, but Challenger stands as a heartbreaking reminder of how one small flaw can undo an entire project. The fine line between genius and failure. These engineering projects remind us that failure is often just the other side of innovation. They almost worked. Some came tantalizingly close to changing the world, but they also teach us humility. Ambition is powerful, but success requires foresight, precision, and sometimes a bit of luck. Every failure laid the foundation for future triumphs. Bridges became safer after Tacoma. Supersonic travel might return one day, learning from Concorde. Even the DeLorean lives on as a cultural icon. So, the next time you hear about a failed project, remember, behind every failure lies the courage to dream big. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the wild world of engineering failures, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment telling us which failure surprised you the most. Your support helps us keep creating content that inspires, informs, and entertains. Until next time, stay curious and keep dreaming big.